What if you're facing a crippling injury due to potential medical errors, and you're looking at many months, many years, perhaps even a lifetime of medical expenses and rehabilitation costs? Do you need a lawyer in this situation? What if you lost the breadwinner of your family, a major wage earner in your family, due to potential medical errors? And the surviving spouse, the other family members, perhaps young children, are trying to replace that lost income and financial support. Do you need a lawyer in this situation? What if you lose the stay-at-home spouse, the main caretaker of young children, due to potential medical errors? And the surviving spouse is trying to figure out how to juggle a career and be a full-time mom and dad to young children. Do you need a lawyer in this situation? My answer to all three of these scenarios, all three of these questions, and any scenario even remotely similar to them, is 100% yes. You need a lawyer all the time in these type of cases. Whenever you're dealing with a life-changing event or a death that's going to change life significantly, and you're talking about financial support or care of family members, you bet you need a lawyer. Even if the hospital's disclosing, apologizing, trying to do the right thing, trying to take care of your needs and making fair offers to meet your financial as well as emotional needs, you need to be represented by counsel. In fact, if the hospital truly believes in disclosure and apology, is truly a sorry works hospital, they should want you to be represented by counsel. Why? Well, two reasons primarily. One, it's easier for them to negotiate lawyer to lawyer as opposed to lawyer to emotionally charged family. The second reason is it adds to the credibility of the program. Credibility is the currency of disclosure and apology programs. They only work, they only live, they only survive if they're credible in the community. If, however, they get a reputation for ripping people off, taking advantage of people, having people who settle cases with them that have buyer's remorse, feel like their needs weren't met, then over time, they lose their credibility, and patients and families won't talk with them. They'll just simply resort to litigation, filing a lawsuit every time. So the program's got to be credible, and when you have that peace of mind in the back of your head because you were represented by qualified counsel, that adds to the credibility of the program, and it's going to make everyone feel much better about the outcome, whatever the outcome is. And you have to understand that you have one chance to get this right. You cannot, once you settle a case, whether you're represented by counsel or not, once you settle a case, you're generally going to be required to sign what they call a liability waiver, so you cannot file any more lawsuits or claims about this particular incident. So that means, what that means is you can't come back 2 years from now, or 5 years from now, or 10 years from now, or 2 weeks from now, and say, well, gee, I didn't think about this, or oh, what about this, or well, we've got this need now. Can you help us with that? Doesn't work that way. Once you sign that liability waiver, the case is closed forever. Generally, the case is closed forever. So you got one chance to get it right. You got one chance to, figure out what you need today, tomorrow, and for the rest of your days. And that's where a qualified lawyer can help, because, face it, most patients and families have no idea really what they all need or what they might need, let alone how do you put a dollar value on that stuff? How do you quantify that type of stuff? Moreover, furthermore, patients and families are often emotionally traumatized after this situation, so you may not be all there. You may not be thinking right. So that's why it's so good to have qualified counsel who's emotionally detached, who does this every day for a living and knows how to A, assess your needs, and B, assign a dollar value to it. Your son, your 12-year-old son, was crippled by a medical error and is looking at a lifetime of expenses and rehabilitation costs. What is that going to cost? How can we put a figure on that? Your lawyer is going to know how to do that. Your husband, the breadwinner of the family, is no longer with us, was killed due to medical error. What are your needs going forward? What are your financial needs? What are the dreams that we don't want to die? How do we meet those needs? How do we make sure your children are provided and educated? Your lawyer is going to know how to do that. Your husband, the stay-at-home spouse, the caretaker of the children, your 2 young children, is no longer with us because of potential medical error. What is your life going to look like going forward? How are we going to juggle your career and those children? How do we take care of those children? Do you need to change jobs? Do you need to stay at home now? How is this all going to look? And how do we put a dollar value on it? The lawyer is going to know how to do that. Good personal injury lawyers, good med-mal personal injury lawyers, they know how to estimate the value of cases. They have experts that work with them, or they can hire experts to work with them that can ask you questions, find out your needs, help you think of needs you wouldn't have thought of otherwise, and come up with a dollar value on that. They can also think about your emotional needs as well. They can talk about what you need to do to move on and heal and get closure so that you can go forward with your life. They can think of all that stuff, and then they can take that and go back to the hospital, back to the insurance company, and negotiate on your behalf and come up with a settlement that's going to be fair and reasonable for everybody. So if you're facing one of these life-changing experiences, be it an injury or a death, don't go it alone. Don't, as an old boss of mine said, don't experiment with the law, and certainly don't do it here, because you got one chance to get it right. Even if the hospital is disclosing and apologizing, which I hope they are doing, I hope they do that for every case, you still need to be represented by counsel. So go find a good attorney, a good law firm, and go forward.